All right, guys, happy Tuesday. This is the long-awaited tutorial on this 1/12 scale couch that I made. It can be any scale, but this one specifically is 1/12 scale. I used upholstery fabric that I've had in my crafts, my craft room, but you can use whatever you have. There's some Dollar Tree fabrics, and those are just enough to make this. They have thin ones, different ones, so use whatever you have. You can use stuff you have at home, but this is what I had, and I thought it would be great. This was a little bit thicker, but it's all right. I have some balsa wood that I cut down to size, and I'm going to give you the dimensions. It's 6 inches by 2, 3/4 for the back, and then 6 by 2.5 inches, and then the sides are 2 by 2.5. So that's that. I know it's a little bit quick, but I did just cut everything down. I cut 2 of the rectangles and then 2 of the sides and 1 for the back. The way that I made the corners was I just took like a little circle piece and just cut the edges off. So that worked out great. And again, you can use chipboard, you can use foam board, you can use balsa, you can use whatever. I made the cushion using this Dollar Tree car sponge. I cut it in like down the middle. I know the lighting is a little bit off, and that's because my windows were open, but I did just cut down a piece to the same size as that rectangle piece. I got some scrap towel that I had on hand. You can use whatever cushion or whatever. I just cut a piece to match that back part just to give it a little bit of cushion. Nothing, major. If you want it to be thicker or more or fluffier, you can use batting or whatever you have on hand, or do a couple layers of towel or fleece or anything like that. This is what I had on hand, and I like it a little bit better because it's not as bulky as the batting. Then I cut 2 strips that were the same width as those 2 side pieces, because you're going to wrap those up as well. So I just cut 2 pieces that are the same width, and then you're just going to measure to kind of figure out how to cover that piece of balsa wood. And it doesn't have to go like all the way around. It just has to cover the 2 long sides. So you can either cut 2 rectangles to fit on there, or you can do what I did. I did it to wrap over the top because I wanted there to be like cushion, kind of how a couch has cushions on the armrests. That's how I wanted it to be. So that's what I did. But if you don't want to do that, you can do it however you want. But this is the way that it worked out for me. And I will try to remember to put the measurements on the screen so that you can see what the measurements. Again, this is for a 1/12 scale. So if you want to do 1/6 scale, or what is that, 1/24 scale, or whatever it is, you're just going to have to adjust the size according to that scale. I don't usually measure, but I wanted this to be a little bit more to scale because it's going to be a gift for somebody, and she works in 1/12 scale. So I wanted to make sure that it was the right size for her dollhouses and for the stuff that she uses. So this is 1/12 scale. But so then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take that back piece. I'm going to glue all the pieces of towel onto the balsa wood, glue the sponge onto the cushion, onto the little rectangle piece. Just kind of glue all that stuff down. And I'm not going to show you that because it's just, gluing everything down. I'm using Fabrifix. I love Fabrifix, although I did use a whole bottle to make these 2 couches. And I used what is it called? I don't remember what it's called, but just some little pieces of wood to make the feet. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. But yeah, so I did cut that out, and you can use whatever you have for the feet. Cubes, little wood cubes, buttons. I mean, anything you have that'll work, jewelry pieces. So then I did cut down the pieces. Again, that went by really quick. So I will put the dimensions of what I used, but it's, again, if you're going to use a different scale, then you're going to use a different scale. So it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do first, and this is the part that always gets me. So you're going to take the 2 sides, as you see me doing here, and glue those down the way that I'm showing you here. You can see it better than I'm probably describing it. But then once those two pieces are glued down, you're going to cut along that top part like you see me doing here, and then cut that whole piece off. You want it to be there, you want there to be as little bulk as possible. This is a really thick piece of upholstery fabric, so I was trying to cut down as much as I could. You're just going to cut these two little pieces off, that way that bulk is not in there. And then make sure everything is glued down there. And then you're going to cut at the bottom, like you see me doing here. It's going to be the same size as the cushion. So then what you're going to do is you're going to glue down those two little flaps that are hanging off the side there. You're going to glue those two pieces down. I'm almost done with this glue, so I'm struggling here with my glue. You're just going to glue those two pieces down. I'm hoping that the visual is better than the explanation that I'm giving you, because yeah, apparently my explanation here, I'm lost myself here. But so visually you can see that those two tabs get glued down, and then you're just going to take that big piece and glue that piece down. I'm going to show you a couple of times so that you got a few different visuals, and I'm not going to explain myself every time, but you can see what I'm doing better than I can explain it to you at this point. But again, Fabrifix glue is good if you want to use hot glue. Whatever kind of glue you use, you want to make sure that it's gonna stick well, because you don't want it coming apart. This Fabrifix, I made one already with this glue and it worked great. This is the glue that I use on my journals, and it holds up in all of my journals. I've never had a problem with them coming apart or anything like that. So Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac, or like I think it's called 3-in-1. They're all from by Beacon. Great glue. I love it. So again, cutting the two little tabs and then folding it over, gluing everything down. And you just want to make sure that everything is like tight and taut and pushed in. And if not, you can always like cut the extra pieces off, but you want it to be as clean as possible. You're going to see in this one of my tabs was kind of funky. So you work with it. It's not a big deal. You can either cut it off or, just do what I did. I kind of just glued it over the top there and it worked out fine. It just needed to be, cover the side there. So it worked out fine. And then I just cut off the excess that was kind of hanging there, that was making it bulky. You just kind of visually look at it and just see what parts need to be cut off or where they need to be tucked or glued or whatever. And then you just do that. It works out. This was all a learning process for me. Again, anything that has to do with fabric, I'm usually just not that great at. I don't know what it is, but fabric and miniatures, it's my kryptonite. I'm not very good at it. So this was um, it was a learning experience, like I said. So some people can sew these things on. I'm just not good. I have a sewing machine. I have a serger. I have all the things. This is way too tiny for me to try and sew anything. So this worked out great. So yeah, so you're just going to kind of glue everything in. This one came out just a little bit wonky. I think I cut my cushion weird, so it was a little bit weird, but I'm going to show you here what I'm going to do. For the bottom, you're going to see me cut it again. I'm just going to show you one more time. So I took one of the rectangles and I got the fabric for that. This is going to be the bottom. I'm going to glue that piece of balsa wood. I'm struggling with this glue here, guys. There's still more in there, but it's so thick, it's hard to get it to the top. And then if I leave it sitting with the nozzle down, it just all comes out. So I can't win. Catch 22. But you're going to go ahead and you're going to glue this down, and then you're going to do the same thing that you did with other pieces. You're going to glue the sides down, and then you're going to cut the little pieces, cut the tabs, glue all the things down. I'm going to show you, but if you are new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all so very, very much. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I post over there more frequently than I post here because the videos are easier to make. They're shorter, so I'm able to kind of post there more often. And then you can kind of see what I'm working on and then the videos that are going to pop up here. But yeah, be sure to follow me over there, like I said. And then I am going to be doing a giveaway. I have my previous video about the book nook. Um, there's going to be a giveaway once I get to 5,000 subscribers. I'm going to be giving away a book nook um, that was given to me by Cute Bee. Well, actually, they're going to send it to you. I'm not going to send it to you. They're going to send it to you. We collabed and they agreed to gift one to one of my wonderful subscribers. So again, once I hit 5K, I will be doing that giveaway. So be sure to check that out and stay tuned for what I guess the rules are going to be for that giveaway. But here you go, as you're listening to me give that little spiel. You're still watching me do these corners. Again, it took me a long time to try and figure out how to cut these to make it as not as bulky, because the first time I made it, the folds were off. It was really bulky. It was hard to glue it was a mess. And I used a thin piece of fabric, so I thought it would work out better, but I just couldn't. I wasn't folding it right, and I wasn't cutting the tabs off. I was leaving all the fat. It was a hot mess. But and if I remember, I'll put a picture of it here so that you can see it. If not, I made a post about it so you can kind of see it on there. But so then again, you just kind of clean it up, cut the little edges off. Anything that's hanging over, you can cut it off, clean it off. It works out fine. And then once you're done with that, you're going to take the part that has the cushion and you're going to glue the two unfinished pieces together, as you see here. So the cushion goes on top, and then the clean part of the bottom is going to go underneath so that it's all nice and covered. Everything is clean and there's no like wood exposed or anything like that. So I was just trying to fix it up. The cushion was a little bit off, so I was just trying to make sure that everything was as flat as possible so that when I glued it down, everything stayed as flat and together as possible. When I finished gluing it together, I sat it down and I put a really heavy book on top of it so that it would, stick flat as opposed to, with any gaps or anything like that. So that's what I did to make sure that that glued down perfectly. So that worked out. Once I put that to the side, I started working on the back. So this one is a little bit different. The steps are pretty much the same. You're going to glue the sides down, cut all the little tabs and everything like that. This one is a little bit different because it has the curves. Now, if you don't want the little curves at the top, they don't need to be there. You can just make it, a rectangle. You'll just have to make that rectangle just a little bit bigger than the other rectangle for the base and, for the bottom. But I kind of like the little curve on there. And that, again, was a learning process because the first time I did it, it looked a hot mess. There was creases and you couldn't even barely see the curve on it. It was a hot mess. So definitely, like I said, it was a learning curve. I watched a lot of videos, but the videos were just, I don't know, the visual wasn't working for me. The descriptions, nothing was working for me. So I just had to keep trying and figuring it out. So the way that I did it was I got a bunch of like cardboard pieces and I was just trying it on some like cardboard that I was going to throw away and some fabric that I wasn't going to use for anything. And I just kept trying until I finally figured it out. So again, with these little pieces, the thinner pieces, you don't necessarily have to keep the tab if you don't want to, because it does add a little bit of bulk, but that does help cover any like exposed wood or anything like that. So that's totally optional if you don't mind a little bit of exposed wood, or if you can figure out how to get it covered up, then you don't need it. But I left my little, you can cut it or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So then for that curved part, you're going to kind of do the same thing. You're going to cut the little tab like you do from the other one. But with this, you're going to have to cut some slits into it. And you'll see what I'm talking about now, just so that you can kind of, or not slits, but like little tabs so that you can glue it over the curve, like over little curved parts. Like you see me here just cutting some little tabs out. So they don't have to be perfect. You just have to be able to get over that curve. And again, you can cut off any excess, anything that doesn't need to be there. But I cut about 3 of them. And then you're just going to glue them down one at a time. So here I noticed that there was a little bit of extra. So I cut it off and, cut it down. But again, you're going to take your glue, and this glue does like come out the spout. I don't know why it does that, but it like bubbles over and comes out. So it's pretty messy. If you have regular nail polish on, be very careful. I caution you because it does eat the nail polish. This is gel polish. First time I've ever used it, my daughter did my nails and it didn't mess up my polish. So that's a good thing. So then you're going to put glue, excuse me, on all the little tabs, and then you're going to do it one by one and just kind of go over the curve like you see me doing here. Hope that makes sense. Just kind of go over that curve, and then just make it nice and neat. Try to fix it up a little bit, and then do that big one last so that it covers anything that needs to be covered there. Now, as you see, there's wood exposed. This is going to be the back. If you leave it like this, it's up to you. If you don't care about the back being messed up, then you don't have to finish it. I wanted it to be covered up because, again, this is going to be a gift and I want it to look real. I want it to look like an actual couch and not, something that I made at home. So I cut another piece of fabric in the same shape as the back there. And then I'm just going to glue it on to the back to cover all that ugliness. And again, this is optional. If you don't care about the back being exposed, then you don't have to worry about it. If you want put a piece of like cardboard back there or chipboard or wood or whatever, up to you. Again, if you don't care about the back being open, then you can leave it just like that. But I wanted it to look clean and, realistic. So I covered it up. But again, optional. You can do what you want to do. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is cover up the sides. This is pretty simple. I'm only going to show you one. You're going to take the fabric and you are going to just make sure that it covers the whole thing all the way around. And then this one I kind of messed up a little bit, and I was going to show you guys, but I ended up cutting it out because this video was like super long. So what you do is you just make sure that you can cover the whole piece up, side piece up. Then you're going to glue the sides first. So when I did it the first time, I glued it all the way around, and then I did the sides, and that didn't work out. So the first thing that you do is you do the sides like I'm doing here. And then you're going to do the same thing as we did on all the other ones. Cut the little slit, cut that extra piece off, do all that. And then the way that you want to cover the whole piece is you want to put the short side first. You're going to glue that short side up first so that the longer piece covers up anything that looks crazy. Now, you don't have to cover the whole thing. You can just take a piece that covers both of the sides and the top and then leave the bottom exposed. It's up to you. Again, I just wanted this to be completely finished and look like a real couch. So this is just what I did. Again, then you can cut up any of the excess. Make sure you clean it up real nice because these two pieces will be exposed. So you're going to see the sides, obviously. Excuse me, my throat is getting dry. So again, you're doing the same thing, cutting the little slits on the side, cutting off that excess piece, and then you're just going to glue this over. And then this will be the side that you glue onto the inside of the couch so that anything that's kind of messed up or whatever is going to be covered up by the couch or by pillows or anything like that. So if you do make a mistake and it doesn't look the way you want it to look, you can just cover it up with the pillows and the couch or a blanket or whatever. But I got some glue on some of the cushions, like right there, there's some glue on it. So I was able to cover it up once I put it in. I'm messy. This glue is really, really good. So it sticks to everything. And so I got it all over the place. But you just clean it up and then you're going to do that to the other side. I'm not going to show you that. And then I'm going to show you how I put everything together. This part's pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. So you take the back and then you're going to glue it to the cushioned part. And then you're going to glue the two sides on. And again, you want to pick the side that's the cleanest to go on the outside because, of course, that's going to be exposed. And I use Fabrifix for this. You could definitely, again, use hot glue or any other kind of glue that you might have on hand. But this, I love this glue. So it takes just a little bit longer to dry, but it also gives you a couple minutes to kind of adjust and fix things up. And then I just let this dry overnight just to make sure that everything was good to go. I didn't want to move it around, break it or anything like that. And you just kind of hold it together for a minute, and it gives you enough time to let it sit, it can sit up on its own. And then you can glue the sides on. Again, make sure that you glue the clean parts. So on the outside that are showing. So then as you see here, I just put glue in an L shape, and I have it laying on the back so that all the pieces are even, there's no like overlapping or whatever. And then you just kind of press it all together, and this is how it looks. And it's in my new dollhouse that has lights and all the things. So this is what it looks like. I love it. Oh, and I did add the legs. I had to cut some new ones because I can't find, it was a dowel. There you go. I cut a dowel and just made some little pieces. But if you have feet that you can use, you can do that too. One of my light bulbs is off in my dollhouse, but I don't know where to get light bulbs from. But this is what it looks like. I think it looks amazing. Again, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. And until next time, be blessed and be the reason someone smiles. Bye, guys.